Hello and welcome to Dingoes 8, my podcast, Season 2. This week we're discussing the Angel episode, I Will Remember You. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave, and I'm somewhat emotionally scarred again.
It's going to get worse, you know that, right?
I know, I just need to get the larger band aids, or maybe a towel. This
Anyway,
scar is kind of getting very big.
this episode originally aired November 23rd, 1999, attracting quite a good audience for this one, 6.5 million viewers.
Now, I'm not sure, cliffhanger or kind of the pull from the last episode sort of bringing in, it's like, hey, this is going to have Buffy and stuff within this. It's not surprising.
Yeah, yeah. Alrighty, so number one movie in America this week. Any guesses? It is not the same as last week.
Oh, okay. Deal with that. That being within November. I got slight recollection of this year for things like that, but it's not so much within movies. Mm,
I'll give you a hint, Dave. This was a big, family friendly film.
be that one. That one's is older. And I still need to watch that at some particular point for the nostalgia and the ridiculousness. Um, mm, yeah, nothing's coming to mind with that.
So it is a little film called Toy Story 2.
Uh, oh, now I'm reminded of that. And now that thing is bleeding now.
Alrighty. Well, number one song in America, It's Still Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas. I'm not even going to ask
Because
you
of
about
course
it
it is.
because it's kind of pointless to ask about. So, video games for this week are a little light. I was wrong. Next week we get a couple of bangers. But
Oh, okay. Because again, with this, just from my own memories and other sorts of stuff, me with video games at around this time, it wasn't much. It was mostly just kind of situated to the N64. But there's one or two games that I'm thinking were super big and popular at the time, and I might be able to name one off. I'm just not sure which one would be around this time.
so
Uh,
here's the thing, Dave. There's a massive game that you definitely played as a kid that comes out the day after this episode aired. So we'll talk about it next week.
oh, okay.
I'll give you the only thing I'll say is it's a big Nintendo franchise.
Oh, okay. Because there's a couple of those.
Yes. The only other hint I'll give you is that it has a rap. Anyway,
Don't most things around that particular time of the year had wraps?
not built into the game. Anyway,
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
for this week for video games, we've only got two. We've got a game called Dark Arms Beast Buster 1999. It's some spin-off to an arcade shooter by SNK that was on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, which I'm sure nobody played this game because it was on the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
I was just kind of questioning how the heck they were able to put that on a sticker for a cartridge or whatever it was supposedly on, because that is a mouthful.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, there was arguably a bigger game that came out this week. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with this franchise, but it's a PC exclusive. It's a little game called SWAT 3, Close Quarters Battle. Are you familiar with the SWAT games at all?
Vaguely. Like, I think I remember seeing a title. I could never say anything about what kind of gameplay any of it would be.
Okay. So if you're not familiar, the SWAT games, they're actually like a kind of a spin-off of the Police Quest games, which I don't know if you're familiar with those.
Yep, complete blank.
Okay. That's kind of what I assumed. Basically, you play as like the leader of like a SWAT team. You have to go in, save civilians, and ideally not kill all of the like terrorists or whatever. You're supposed to like arrest them before killing them if you can. They're fun games, but they're definitely a niche.
Can someone understand that? I vaguely know of it, mostly just from memes, but I think the one thing that my brain is trying to comprehend is this one's the third one
Yeah.
of the series from there. Just how old that supposedly is. Because my vision of it is like mid 2005 ish or so, with more of the higher end PC releases and stuff that they would be playing on YouTube and other stuff right now.
So SWAT 3 obviously is 99. SWAT
Mhm.
4, which is probably if you're familiar with any of them, it would be SWAT 4, and I'll get into why in a minute. But SWAT 4 is 2005.
Okay.
Prior to that, they were the Police Quest games, which they were more of like. It's hard to even explain what Police Quest was if you haven't played it, because it kind of switched genres a little bit, and they weren't entire. They were fun games, but they weren't necessarily the most consistent. They're
Case
also
of they trying to find their niche to reach the best audience for them.
well, Police Quest started out as like um how do I explain, like an adventure game, like a point and click almost.
Oh,
And then
no, I can see
it
that.
moved into like the real-time strategy kind of thing, and then it went into the squad-based shooter. And then it just died.
No, as that makes a fair amount of sense. And depending on how old is the first one? When was it released?
The original Police Quest technically was released twice. The original version came out in '87, but there was a remake in '92 that had better graphics and a better engine and audio and stuff.
Okay. No, that definitely kind of tracks since with around in the early 90s with being more of a the word escapes me for what you said it, but that was kind of the style at the time. And then with RTS, I believe you were saying,
Yeah.
the next couple of them, it
Uh,
makes sense with
they
all
didn't
of
become
them.
RTS, I think, until I want to say. I think Police Quest SWAT 2 is the only one that's RTS, and that's '98.
But still, it kind of tracks with
Yeah. No,
other particular
absolutely.
games that around the time that make sense with that, and them either filling the niche or trying to stay relevant with most games that were coming out at the time. But yeah, it's also a bit understandable that if it wasn't strong enough to kind of stand on its own with its premise, with all that, following the trends of that time could only get you so far.
Yeah. Anyway, so the reason you might remember SWAT 4, and the only reason I'm familiar with the franchise, I think I've played one of the Police Quest games, but the reason you might remember um, a YouTube channel, the Spoonie Experiment.
Oh,
He did a playthrough of SWAT 4,
hmm,
which is how I became familiar with it.
I see. Hmm.
There's a name you haven't heard in probably 15 years.
A fair amount because it's either mixed in with three different sayings or other particular people that it could be, but it's not them. But yeah, as it kind of turns out with a lot of the older YouTubers.
Yeah, let's not go into that. It is not a fun topic.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, back to Angel. Alrighty. So, Angel has returned from Sunnydale, and he is currently at his desk, winding an antique clock. We find out that he's been back for 3 days after assisting Buffy, unbeknownst to her. Cordelia and Doyle closely watch Angel for signs of depression. Cordelia reveals that since he doesn't look depressed, then him seeing her again cut deeper than they thought. She probes for details about his trip, and in the midst of expressing her tart opinion of Angel's inconsistent secretiveness with the Slayer herself suddenly appears in the office doorway. Basically, Buffy shows up. Everybody goes, "Oh shit!" Even though at one point they think Angel's about to stake himself,
Yeah,
but he's just
just
using
kind of
it
the case that
to like
yeah,
level the desk.
Cordelia, I'm not exactly sure how much you have experience with people with depression, but I'm not exactly sure if it's much with people just kind of trying to figure out if their desk has a lead.
Well, I
Because
mean,
yes, I know it looks weird, but it's kind of what you have to do.
yeah. So Buffy shows up, and then Cordelia kind of quickly pushes Doyle out into the outer office, and she's like, "Right, we're not getting involved with this.
Yeah, because it's not exactly something that you can help with or sure get involved with.
Ideally, just get away." So Buffy demands an explanation for Angel having left, having went to Sunnydale and left without saying anything, which is kind of a dick move.
Teeny bit, yes.
Angel, though he apologizes for the way he handled things, remain convinced that he did the right thing. They conclude that they should stick to the plan to keep their distance long enough for them to forget each other. As Buffy turns to leave, a sword-wielding warrior demon crashes through the window and knocks Angel to the floor. Buffy disarms the demon and engages it hand-to-hand, allowing Angel to retrieve the sword and plunge it into the demon's abdomen. The demon escapes back through the smashed window, finding themselves in uncomfortable proximity. Buffy and Angel sort themselves out and prepare to give chase. So,
Time to distract ourselves with hunting a demon instead of trying to figure out our problems.
yep, because that's how you handle things. Okay, so they track the demon through the sewers, and Angel is able to track via smelling the blood.
You know, as a vampire.
Yes, because it's a very helpful. It's helpful when you're tracking things.
Yes.
Angel says that he feels that the demon's blood on his fingers feels strange, which is the first hint that we get that something might not be completely normal here. Okay. When the demon's tracks seem unclear, one path leading deeper into the sewers and one leading up to the surface, Buffy and Angel have to split up because obviously Angel and Sunlight aren't exactly friends.
No, it would cause more problems than it would fix.
Angel follows the demon underground and flushes it from cover. They fight. The demon inflicts a shallow cut on Angel's palm. Angel recoils and goes like full vamp, then renews the fight with increased ferocity. When Angel delivers a fatal blow, some of the demon's blood mixes with his own. We see a white light, and he drops to his knees with a shout. Noticing his own heartbeat, he whispers, "I'm alive." Dun, dun, dun.
Oh boy, isn't this a thing?
So, Angel goes back to the office, walking through the front door in full daylight. Cordelia guesses that Angel has an umbrella.
You know, one of the particular things that most vampires depicted at the time are being like, oh, I need to go outside at some particular point. Get the umbrella!
Doyle discerns that their friend is alive. After briefly standing in the sunlight streaming through the windows, Angel realizes his incredible appetite for food and eats everything in the fridge. Well, he hasn't eaten for like 300 years at this point. Give the guy a break.
Well, his body could have let him know sooner, but also he might have been a little bit distracted.
Yeah, probably a little bit. All of a sudden having a heartbeat and a pulse. That might throw you off.
Go on inside without bursting into flames.
Yeah, that too. Doyle quickly goes through a reference book, and Angel identifies the Moira demon. While Angel moves back to the window, this time to marvel at his reflection in the glass, Angel reveals that the Moira demon, which incidentally needs great quantities of salt to survive, works for the other side to take out warriors for good like Buffy and Angel. Good agents of the powers that be. keep that phrase in mind. The reference also states that the Moira's veins run with the blood of eternity.
Oh.
Basically, they can heal from pretty much anything.
Alrighty.
Or, well, most things. Musing
And
that. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, despite the fact that you have a monster of the week, it needs to have some sort of weakness to supposedly be destroyed, or otherwise you're not going to have a story for long.
I mean, they have basically. I mean, in Buffy, they did have to fight Faith. Or not Faith. Fuck, what was her name? Glory. And Glory was a god.
Yeah, yeah. But then, of course, that dives into different principles, but nevertheless.
Yes. Alright. Musing on what this means about what happened to him, Angel becomes determined to ask the powers why. Doyle cautions Angel that they cannot be questioned directly, but must be approached through channels. When Angel demands access, Doyle takes him to see the oracles. I'll explain what the oracles are later.
Yes, because it's a case of, hey, here are these things. It's important to this episode, but we're not really going to explain it. Have fun!
Using a spell to gain entry into their realm through the Gateway for Lost Souls, which is appropriately under the post office, the oracles confirm that he is both alive and truly human, with all the attendant pain and pleasures of that mortal condition. Angel reports back to Doyle, who concludes that the next logical step would be to figure out what Angel wants.
Also, additionally, nice job, Doyle, for forgetting the one main thing of you need to bring a flippin' gift.
Yeah, Angel gives them his watch, which...
Like, oh, you gave me time! Yet so much and so little of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Along a sunlit garden path, Buffy gazes out at the ocean. Suddenly, she turns and sees Angel striding towards her. Obviously, you know, the whole sunlight thing. They kiss. We cut back to Cordelia and Doyle talking about their forbidden love, yada, yada, yada. My favorite line that Cordelia has here is something like they've been away from each other for months. They're not just going to sit down, drink tea, and eat crackers. And what does it immediately cut to, Dave?
It cuts to them sitting down there drinking tea. Not so much eating crackers, but it wouldn't be surprising with that on the table.
It's such a good cutaway joke.
Like, on the one hand, I can completely understand with Cordelia. But then, of course, it's Angel and Buffy. It's not going to immediately go to that.
Well, I mean, it kind of does.
Like I said, it's not immediately going to go there. Give it a minute.
Wait, I lost my place in my notes here. Give me a second. Cordelia and Doyle commiserate over drinks, wondering if they are out of a job. Doyle suddenly has a vision and returns to Angel's place to report that the Moira demon has unexpectedly regenerated itself bigger and meaner than ever. Doyle joins Angel for another hunt, suggesting that they include the Slayer to provide some, supernatural muscle. But Angel believes that his being human will never work unless he can still fight demons on his own, which is a dumb plan. Researching clues about Moira vulnerabilities on the way, Angel and Doyle track the demon to a nearby salt refinery, where it ambushes them, knocking Doyle unconscious with a single kick and proceeds to severely thrash Angel. In the meantime, Buffy, waking alone in Angel's bed, forces Cordelia to tell her what's happening. She then finds Angel and the Moira demon at the bottom of an empty salt silo and takes over the fight. Meanwhile, the demon declaims prophecies about dark hordes and the end of days. Angel spots a jewel on the demon's forehead, remembers that destroying its 1,000 eyes will stop it, and shouts instructions to the Slayer. Buffy smashes the Moira demon's jeweled forehead, whereupon the demon fractures and shatters into a burst of light. In the sudden quiet, Buffy kneels down and gathers the battered Angel in her arms. Okay, so returning to the oracles, Angel asks about the portents described by the Moira and learns that if he remains human, Buffy will have to face the minions of darkness alone and die much sooner. Angel asks the oracles to take back his life. At first, they refuse. They refuse to interfere in a matter of love between lower beings. Angel argues that there are larger issues at stake. If he remains human, the other side will certainly succeed in removing one champion from the cause of the powers that be, as well as hastening the demise of another. The oracles decide that Angel's willingness to sacrifice his happiness and love qualifies him as being a higher being, but that his request to give back his life can only be granted if the entirety of the day is erased, although Angel alone would have to remember it all in order to prevent circumstances from repeating exactly. So basically, they're going to erase the day, but Angel has to remember everything that happened.
At the torture of love and all the other particular things to match with all the stuff that it does with it.
Yes.
Ties everything up in a nice little bow, but gives you that wonderful, horrible pain in your heart.
Okay. Basically, he returns to Buffy. Angel tells her that he has been to the oracles to ask to become a vampire again, and that they granted his request. She rapidly passes through disbelief, anger, and rejection, then grieves upon learning how little time actually remains to them, and that she will have no memory of what happened. They weep and kiss as the final few seconds click past, and they hold each other. Buffy repeats that she will never forget, and Angel embraces Buffy as she holds back tears. In a flash, time folds back to the moment in Angel's office where Buffy told him about sticking to the plan of their keeping distance. Keeping distance. So Angel responds again that they should do so until they forget. Hey, it's almost like that was written intentionally. Buffy turns to leave, and the Moira bursts through the window. Angel picks up the antique clock from his desk, ducks the demon's first kick, and steps inside its first sword thrust. He quickly smashes the clock into its forehead, destroying the jewel in its forehead, and then quickly steps back to watch it shatter and disappear into glowing light. Buffy asks how Angel was able to destroy the demon so decisively. Angel said that he has had a lot of time to catch up on his reading. When Buffy says, "That's really all there is to say," Angel turns to look down at the damaged clock and agrees. When he turns back, she's already left. Dun, dun, dun. See, wasn't that a happy episode, Dave? What if I tell you... Actually, no, no, never mind. I'm gonna keep that for a few minutes.
All of the things. All of the bloody things that I haven't done and done bloody there.
So, what'd you think of the episode, Dave?
It was good. It hurt, but it was still good for what it did.
I mean, isn't that just kind of like Buffy as a general thing, though? Like, it's really good, but it's really painful.
Pretty much. And just a sort of reminder to never have attachment or any loving relationship in the show, because it's always going to be destroyed.
Yes. So, I have some fun little trivia about this episode. And I realized we forgot to do something last week. So quickly, we're going to go back to the bachelor party to do some international titles. Last week's episode, because I forgot to do international titles for it. Although they're not terribly fun.
No, that makes sense. It's kind of simple, easy breezy bachelor party.
Yeah, so in French, it translates as Demon Bachelor Party. Which, meh.
It's a little bit too on the nose.
However, the Germans know what's up. In German, it translates as Party with Bite.
Yeah, it has that nice little additional spin. Not amazing, though, but again, there's only so much I think that they could work with.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much. And, okay. Now, for this week's episode, I Will Remember You. We've got a bunch.
Ooh.
Okay. Now, in Czech, I Will Never Forget You. Pretty standard.
But, yes.
In Finnish, Reunion.
Yeah.
Not bad. There's a bunch of them that I'm not going to bother reading out because they're like, I Will Always Remember You or I Will Remember You. There's a lot that are basically just the same title.
Yeah.
Italian, The Return of Buffy.
It's like start of the episode. It's like guess what? Buffy's back.
But again, I have to say, I'm not sure if this week we should give the award to Germany or Hungary, because they both got really good ones. In Hungarian, it's Unforgettable Memory,
Badooch.
and in German, it's Love for a Limited Time.
Ooh.
They're both real
Ooh.
good.
It is, and it hurts.
Anyway, a couple of fun little notes about this episode. So this will be the only occasion where Doyle and Buffy will meet.
Well, at the very least, he knows of her and had a chance to at least meet her. But yeah, I'm not really sure how much of any sort of stakes would be for Buffy and Doyle and kind of working together with things. So
Yeah.
it's fine, I suppose, for one episode.
It will also be the last meeting we witness between Buffy and Cordelia.
Yeah, understandable.
Oh, I don't. That's too much of a spoiler.
Because of course, always the spoilers.
Well, that's why I'm quickly reading some of these before I say them, because I'm like, oh wait, I don't want to spoil certain things. Okay, so this episode is the first time, although not the last, that Angel will make a similar arrangement in order to cause people to forget something significant.
Because when something is about to go horribly, horribly wrong, you just gotta erase somebody's memory. Everything's fixed. And you feel terrible.
He's gonna go to this idea more than a few times. He's like, well, I know how to fix this. Wipe everybody's mind.
And then sort of the marvelous case of, maybe we should get this guy a therapist? See if we can maybe get some work done on him, please.
Yeah. Alrighty, so. There is kind of a fun little pop culture reference here. So when Buffy's in the sewer, she references mutant ninja demon thing. Obviously, a reference to TMNT.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sarah Michelle Gellar would go on to do a voice for one of the TMNT animated movies. A couple of years later. That's a fun little piece of trivia. Anyway.
Yeah.
If you have nothing else to add about this week, Dave, I'm going to give us a little look into what we're dealing with next week.
Because it's always going to be something we have to deal with.
Okay. So next week is an episode called Hero.
Okay, you might supposedly need more context.
So, Angel is going to join Doyle's crusade to save a group of peaceful demons from the Scourge. They're basically like demon Nazis.
Not terrible. Could be kind of questionable going into that, but go on.
The events lead to all the groups at a climactic showdown above a freighter where Doyle reveals the real reason why he was sent to Angel and confesses his heritage to Cordelia before something happens.
Because, something always has to happen when you hear the actual plans of a person and someone confesses their love. It's as it is. It's just the exact same as someone saying that they're retiring in 2 days.
Yep. Anyway, until next week, I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.